Hello, I'm GreyBTC. Welcome to another episode. And today, here's why France, especially Paris, is the worst place to visit. I've been to more than 50 countries, and I've seen enough of Europe to know when a city is running on fumes. Just look at what's happening in France right now. PSG finally wins the Champions League, and what happens? The city erupts in chaos. 2 people dead, over 200 injured, fires in the streets.
2 people have died and 559 have been arrested during Champions League final celebrations in Paris.
And that's supposed to be a celebration. That's not tourism, that's trauma. Paris is on edge, and it's not just the public. Even the elite are crumbling. Just watch this scene, for example. This isn't politics, this is a country cracking at the seams while still selling itself as romantic. But walk around Paris today if you dare. It doesn't feel romantic, it feels tired, defensive, like it's done pretending. People come for croissants and cute cafes, but the city doesn't care anymore. It's just performing. The service is cold, the prices are brutal, and if you're not careful, you'll get pickpocketed in the same spot they shot movie scenes. I've had more meaningful conversations in a coffee shop in Krakow than I ever had in a Parisian cafe. And the truth is, other European cities have overtaken Paris by a mile. Go to London, even Dubai. They're vibrant, real, and not choking on their own myth. Paris has become a museum curated by Instagram, and once you peel away the filters, all that's left is noise, tension, and overpriced wine. Because the Paris fantasy still sells, people fly in thinking they're walking into a movie. They expect accordion music, spontaneous kisses by the Seine, that midnight Eiffel Tower sparkle. But they're not prepared for what it really is. Protests everywhere, taxi drivers who ghost you if they hear your accent, and a city so jaded by tourism, it treats outsiders like a necessary evil. And when I say jaded, I mean it. Paris doesn't even pretend to be welcoming anymore, it just cashes the checks. The real Paris isn't in your travel vlog, it's in the way a server shrugs when you ask for help. It's in the side eyes you get on the streets. It's in the police presence that feels more like a warning than protection. And sure, some people will say that's just the Parisian attitude, but that's not culture, that's a mask. I've spent time in Berlin and Ljubljana, cities that hold their history without suffocating under it. Cities where locals don't resent you just for showing up. Meanwhile, Paris? It's resting on past glory while the foundation cracks. And now it's not just a tourist trap, it's a powder keg. You've got riots over football, open political meltdowns, the president's own wife losing it in public, and yet people still line up for macarons like it's Disneyland. I don't say this out of hate, I say it because I've seen better. I've seen places that evolve, that welcome, that respect the traveler and themselves. Paris doesn't do that anymore. It survives off nostalgia and influencers who don't care what's behind the filter. That's why it's the worst place to visit, not because it's ugly, but because it's pretending not to be broken. And let's not forget the scams, because Paris is practically a masterclass in how to rip off tourists without them even realizing it. You land at Charles de Gaulle, and before you even get your bags, someone's trying to hustle you into an overpriced taxi because Uber doesn't work here. You walk near the Eiffel Tower, and suddenly you're surrounded by guys pushing souvenir keychains for 5 times the real price. At Sacré-Cœur, someone tries to tie a bracelet around your wrist for free, then demands 20 euros after it's on you. In the metro, watch your pockets. Pickpockets work in teams and they're good. I've seen it happen in real time. A bump, a distraction, and your phone's gone. And that's just the petty stuff. Some restaurants near tourist zones charge seating fees or sneak extra charges onto the bill assuming you won't notice. Some hotels don't tell you up front about the absurd city tax until checkout. And when you question it, they act like you're the problem. Paris knows it has leverage, it knows people will still come. So, the scams keep running. And the worst part? Nobody stops it. The city looks the other way while travelers get fleeced. Because tourist money is still money, even if it's taken dishonestly. You can't talk about Paris or France without talking about its colonial past. The museums, full of stolen artifacts. The food, influenced by lands they once ruled and exploited. The diversity on the streets, a legacy of empire, not inclusion. Riots don't happen because people hate France. They happen because people are tired of living in a country that profits from their image while ignoring their reality. That's the contradiction. Tourists show up for the French aesthetic, the jazz, the food, the colors, but don't question where it came from. France extracted its global empire into a lifestyle, and Paris became the showroom. But now, the showroom is cracking. Look at Burkina Faso, a former colony, now cutting ties. Their president publicly breaking from France's influence and aligning with a future that doesn't include colonial strings. That's not just news, that's a generational break. And it reflects what's happening in Paris too. The fantasy is wearing thin. You can't curate an empire forever. Eventually, people start asking questions. And when travelers finally see the truth, that Paris isn't some magical dream, it's just a reflection of their own expectations, they get uncomfortable. That's why the city feels cold. It's not about people being rude, it's about deep resentment. And honestly, it's justified. France still pretends like it's leading the world in culture, while places like London, Dubai, even Kigali are evolving in real time. These are cities that still feel human. You can walk the streets and have a real conversation with a stranger. You can eat at a place that doesn't see you as a walking credit card. But Paris? It's become so saturated with image management that even the authenticity feels curated. I was in Kigali last year. The waiter didn't speak much English, but the smile was real. The wine was local, cheap, no pretense. Now compare that to Paris, where a server will make you feel like a criminal for not ordering in perfect French. And don't get me wrong, I love French culture. I've studied it. I've lived next to it. But this isn't culture anymore, it's cultural branding. The France you're being sold is stuck in the past, and it's not aging well. When the cracks start to show, it lashes out. Riots, scandals, resentment. And yet every tourist thinks they're the exception. They think they'll get a Paris that no one else gets. But the city doesn't care who you are. It'll chew you up, overcharge you for a hotel that smells like cigarettes, and call it ambiance. Meanwhile, there are whole regions of Europe that don't need to fake charm. They're not living off legacy. They're alive, hungry, and open to the world. That's where the real magic is, not in Paris. Paris doesn't want you there. Not really. It wants your money, your content, your clicks, but not you. The experience is transactional. It's cold. It's beautiful, sure, but it's beauty wrapped in barbed wire. The city has made peace with being a product, and when a place becomes a product, it stops being a place. That's why people leave Paris feeling drained. It's not just the crowds or the prices, it's the energy, the friction, the unspoken walls. Now compare that to Dubai. Say what you want, but if we're talking safety, ease, infrastructure, Dubai wins, hands down. I've been there multiple times. Everything works. The taxis are spotless, the metros run on time, and you can walk around at 2 a.m. without looking over your shoulder. Here is a video of me showing you how safe Dubai is.
Is Dubai as safe as they really claim it is? This is me at 3:30 in the middle of the night, just riding a scooter in the city, minding my business, and I'm not even thinking about a probability of being robbed or losing my cell phone or money or anything like that. I'm just having a good time. And I can go anywhere like this. The worst thing that might happen is that someone might fall if you're riding too fast. Habibi, come to Dubai.
So that's it. No filters, no romance, just the reality. Paris isn't what it used to be, and maybe it never was. The myth has outlived the experience. If you want beauty, safety, and ease, there are better options out there. I'm not saying don't visit Paris, I'm saying go with your eyes open. I'm GreyBTC. Thanks for watching my take on why Paris is the worst place to visit. You might also like this other video, the places with the most crypto kidnappings.